Leadership. I'm Beth Bergen. I'm an internationally awarded leadership and communication coach, and I am here every single Tuesday live for you. During the week, I was coaching a client and I'd asked him to notice what he was noticing about a range of different events that were happening during the week. And as a result of some of the things that he noticed, we ended up having quite a productive conversation about the use of his voice and the impact that the use of his voice can have, and how useful as a tool the your voice actually is. And what that led me to doing was thinking, this is something I need to be talking about in leadershipization, where, as you know, we talk about leadership, communication, and mental fitness. So I often we underestimate the power of our voice. If I was to say to you, what do you think? What percentage do you think your voice has, or your voice contributes to positive communication? Many people wouldn't know. I guess there are three, well, I don't guess, there are three components to our communication. One is the words we choose, the second one is our voice, and the third one is our nonverbal or our body language and the way that we convey the message. And pretty roughly, and I think there is some disputes this, but pretty roughly, 38% of what you communicate is received because of the voice that you use. 55% comes through your body language and 7% comes through your words. Now, that doesn't mean that the words aren't important. What this should clearly tell you is that it's vital that we actually put the whole package together. We need to put the whole package together. So today what we're going to do is just talk about your voice, and I'll give you 6 strategies that you can apply straight away around how you can improve the way that you're using your voice. And sometimes just being aware of what can change is an awesome way to actually change the use of your voice. Our voice can really conveys many different things, and it's broken down into 4 main components. And the first one of that is our pitch. So it can be quite high and quite low. The higher it is, the squeakier it gets, the more you sound as though you don't know what you're saying. You sound scared and lacking in confidence. The lower your voice is, the more confident you sound. So I guess a really good example of this is thinking about lifting your voice up at the end of a phrase implies a question. So if you say, oh, is that okay? There's uncertainty there. You're checking to see whether this is okay with whoever it is that you're speaking to. And perhaps you're not sure about what their response might be. Whereas if you were to say, is this okay? It's much more of a definite, confident statement. So that's just one very small example of pitch, which is one component of your voice. Now, just a reminder, today we're going to be scratching on the surface, okay? There's a whole lot more that we could learn about the way we use our voice in communication. Today I'm scratching on the surface for you. The second thing about our voice is our pace. Now, often, it's really interesting. If we think someone isn't going to understand, we often automatically do 2 things. We slow our voice down and we talk louder, just in case they need a nice loud voice for us to be able to hear. Our pace can give an indication of our understanding of our audience. Pace is really powerful, and we'll learn that in the 6 strategies. So think about the speed that you're actually getting your message out there. The third one is volume. And as I was saying before, it was the volume of my client's voice and the impact that the volume, the positive impact that a louder volume had, that got us really thinking about the power of your voice as a tool. It can be really, really impactful to talk quietly if you're wanting to get everyone's attention and bring it to a particular point. But it can be just as useful to talk loudly so that you gather the whole room in and you share the emotion of what it is that you want to say to them. One powerful tool for parents is to provide a teaching moment for their children in a quiet, modulated voice. Not yelling, not angry, just quietly, disciplined, direct. Very powerful tool. The fourth component of your voice is your timbre, and this is where all of that emotion comes into the voice. We don't want our voice to just be monotone. The awesome thing about our voice is that it conveys the content, but it also conveys the emotion and the details of the message. On the flip side, it can convey confidence, but also convey uncertainty. It can convey that you're relaxed, but it could also convey your tension. It can also convey your certainty at the same time as our beautiful voice conveys our doubt. So I've got 6 strategies that I'm looking to share with you today. The first one is this: breathe. It's simple. Breathe. We hold our breath to protect ourselves. I was at a stretching class earlier this morning, and I'm supposed to be breathing while I'm stretching, but like this, making sure that I just protect myself. So breathe, because this really aids your volume and your energy. It enables you to pace around your actual breathing. And breathing, just the same as the second strategy, which is think about your posture, breathing releases the tension all up through your neck, through your shoulders, and that frees up the throat area, which means that the words that you want to get out can get out. So, play with those shoulders, roll those shoulders around a bit. But be aware of your posture, because if what you're doing is leaning forward like this, do you hear how that impedes my voice straight away? Like, I'm not doing anything. I'm talking the same volume. It feels the same to me, the same amount of effort as if I'm back here. And yet back here, it sounds so much clearer. It's coming out. So stand or sit up tall with your shoulders back. What we're wanting you to do is to demonstrate a confidence, and in your leadership role, you want to demonstrate that presence. You want to demonstrate all of those intangible things that make you the leader that you are. So practice that. Leaning back, standing back. Think about if you're on Zoom, make sure that you're leaning back and you're focused and paying attention. Look at the camera. The other really important thing to do is to smile. That's part of your posture or the message that you're sending. Make sure that you're smiling. My third strategy today is to know the outcome of what it is that you're wanting to achieve, because this will help you to determine how you can best use your voice as a tool. For example, there's been research that demonstrates in sales, you're likely to make more sales if you talk faster with shorter pauses. So it's about keeping the information coming with shorter pauses. It's also important to know what the outcome is so that you can vary that pitch a little bit. You don't want to be monotone in what you're doing. So sometimes you want to be quieter. Sometimes you're going to be a little louder. Sometimes you're going to have a high pitch. Sometimes it's going to be a little bit lower. Thinking about what the message is that you want to get across. Thinking about the circumstances and the situation. By knowing what the outcome is, you can also identify what your mood or what your energy level needs to be. If it's a really serious or somber discussion or occasion, you're not going in with a really high pitch or gorgeous and giggly, because that's not your executive presence. That's not your leadership. Whatever that mood or that emotion is, you want to match your energy and your voice to that. That low, confident, hey, we're getting on with it, we're on top of this, a quieter voice for those somber occasions. It may also be that in order to bring people together, you've got to put some volume in your voice. You've got to be able to extend it to the back of the room, using a loud voice without yelling and without necessarily having access to a microphone. The other reason it's important to know the outcome of your conversation is because the timbre, your pitch, your energy, all of those things are going to match the mood and the emotion. However, you can also influence. If you know that what you're wanting to do as the outcome is to influence the people in the room, then you're going to be able to bring the meaning to your words. You're going to be able to bring the meaning to the use of your voice, and you can use those 4 aspects of your voice to be able to achieve your outcome. The 4th strategy, be deliberate about putting variety into your voice. No one wants to listen to same old monotone voice the whole time. Think about when you can convey your intention by using a louder voice or a softer voice. Soft can really highlight the need for people to listen closely. And when you're talking softly, you might lean forward to encourage them to come in. Louder may be simply to get the attention of everyone in the room and to convey your meaning with no doubt. This is my meaning. I'm very frustrated today, and I want you all to understand that. Might be something that you say louder. That doesn't mean that you're allowing the emotion at a high level to come through, but they certainly understand that this is how you're feeling. Loud for short periods of time like that can have an absolute impact. It can be very powerful. Don't overuse it. However, as I said before, loud doesn't necessarily mean angry. Loud doesn't necessarily mean high emotion. You can use that loudness really deliberately to bring variety and to make a point. Your pace is also something you can do to add variety. It's useful to be able to shift from fast to slow. particularly around the important points. It's particularly important that you do that around the important points. You might want to slow down. You might want to say something like, hey, grab a pen. It's really important. And pause and give people time to do that. Importantly, and I think this is really important, it's about, in that variety, being deliberate about being conversational when that's appropriate, and certainly about being authentic. Make sure that your voice is welcoming. Make sure that you've got that smile that we were talking about. Make sure that you are putting that variety in there. As I said before, that pitch, if it goes up, it's confident. You're demonstrating that you're confident. If it goes, I beg your pardon, if it goes up at the end of a question, the end of a statement, it's showing a lack of confidence. You're raising a question. If it goes down, then you're demonstrating confidence. So all the time be thinking, do I need to lower my pitch a little bit here? You know, when you think about radio announcers or people whose voice you really enjoy, listen to that and see how they're deliberate about putting that variety into their language. Barack Obama is an awesome orator. He's a great person to listen to, and you'll hear all of those changes that he actually makes to what he's doing. The fifth strategy is this: emphasize the focus words. Slow down enough to actually emphasize the focus words. And that way you're going to be able to guide the conversation. Now, there's an awesome statement that I'm going to make a number of different ways. It goes like this: if you want to be a leader, empower others. If you want to be a leader, empower others. If you want to be a leader, empower others. So what we see there is that in the first one, the emphasis was on no words. It was just a statement. The second time I said it, the focus was on the two words leader, then I paused, then empower. The third time I said it, if you want to be a leader, pause, empower others. By emphasizing those focus words, you're able to bring the focus of whoever you're talking with to those actual words. And it's the way you structure the sentence, the way you use your voice in that sentence, that's very powerful. The pause is an awesome tool. And that's great. It goes along with the pace. Slow it down, but also sometimes pause. Now, the extra little thing about a pause is that it allows you the ability to stop the talking and do some thinking very quickly. The sixth and final strategy for today is this one. Notice what you're noticing. Notice what you're noticing about your voice and be human. Notice, is there too much emotional here? Am I being a bit over the top? Am I not putting enough emotion in here? Think about, was that persuasive or did it sound a little bit like I was whinging? Was it impactful? Was it memorable? Will people remember the things that I said? particularly if you're making a presentation or in a circumstance where you really want to make an impact. The other thing to be aware of in this notice what you're noticing and being human is that you are human. And it doesn't matter how much AI comes in, you have the human touch. You're the person who brings the humanness to your role as a leader. So make sure that you're matching your voice to your words. Watch out for any negative attitudes or biases coming through in your role as a leader. That's something that you simply can't afford. And make sure that your voice doesn't convey the fact that I'm just going through the motions here. I'm just doing what I have to do. Think about that tone. All the time, be thinking about that tone. And make sure that you adapt your voice, on the phone. Answer the phone with a smile. Many people want to be communicated with directly. They want to know that they're talking to a person and someone who can help them. Think about how you come across on Zoom. You kind of have to exaggerate things a little bit so that, you're a bit larger than life because you're coming across on a screen. Think about how you impact in person. And in order for you to notice what you're noticing, it might be that what you need to do is to have the courage and the self-leadership to record yourself in an important presentation or conversation and play it back. Not so that you can slam yourself, but so that you can actually just reflect on it and go, how could I have done that differently? Always, it's those little 1%ers that make all the difference. Okay, that's it for today. Thank you so much to anyone who's watched. If you've got some questions, pop them in the comments below. Hashtag replay if you've watched the replay. I love it that I'm able to do this and I really enjoy being here. A reminder, if you want to know more about Deliberate Reset, my hand-picked group of leaders who, over 10 weeks we work on leadership, communication, and mental fitness with a real focus on tailoring what we cover so that it suits your circumstances and your situation. Let me know, reach out if you want to know more about that. In the meantime, have an awesome week. Thank you so much for joining me for Leadershipization, all things leadership. See you next week. Bye now.